G'day guys, this is Tier and welcome back to another Fallout 76, I guess you could call this PTS video, although the information in this video will be information that was presented over at QuakeCon. Unreal. Okay, straight off the bat we're going to be watching a video and I'm going to be showing you guys some still images that we have access to. Huge shout out to Ken for doing all of the questionnaire stuff over at QuakeCon and getting out some awesome information. Huge shout out to Duchess Flam for getting the pictures that I'll be showing you guys as well. And I guess shout out to Bethesda for posting this trailer. But yeah, first before we say anything or dive into anything, let's watch the trailer together. Alright, so what you just watched was the trailer for something called The Gleaming Depths, which is highly speculated to be an all but almost confirmed. Take it with a grain of salt, we have pretty much confirmed it, but we're not totally 100% sure. Basically, raids are coming back. If you aren't familiar, vault raids were a thing many years ago. My channel wasn't exactly a thing back then, so I didn't have any footage of me doing vault raids. But I played it a fuck ton when I was playing the game back then, played it a lot with mates. It was the most fun thing that Bethesda ever added to 76 in my opinion. I love doing raids, I love hard content, stuff that's challenging, stuff that has puzzles, stuff that requires you to work with a team and the team fills specific roles. I love that. And vault raids did that. However, it was very buggy and unstable. This is something different. It's not vault raids. It looks to be what you would call ultrasite cavern raids or something like that. Maybe there will be future raids. There will definitely be future raids going in different locations. But for right now, we have something called the Gleaming Depths. And yeah, this is basically going to be taking us into a raid. On screen right now, this is from Duchess Flame. Raids are making a return, but with a new twist. We got a sneak peek during the QuakeCon livestream and I'm working on securing some shareable footage. In the meantime, here's a glimpse of the raid entrance in the ash heap next to Striker's Row, currently available on the PTS. I'll flash a few more screenshots of the location for you guys to look at, but huge shout out to Duchess, thank you for all but confirming this. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more footage of it, but I don't have anything right now to show you guys, just what was seen in the trailer. And you're probably waiting for me to touch on this, but there's a huge fucking mutated cobra snake thing that is clearly going to be one of the, or probably the boss in that particular raid. That's what everyone is speculating, although it could be a new region nuke raid boss. However, I'm probably leaning more towards it being a raid boss instead of a world boss, but we'll see. That looks amazing, incredible. We haven't really seen any snakes or serpents or anything like that in a Fallout game before, so this will be a first. It's highly speculated that this is something that is created as a direct result of the Enclave. I'm not going to dive too deep on that because I don't want to spoil anything that if it potentially ends up being true. But yeah, as you've been seeing on screen, there's a whole bunch of images of the raid's location and entrance. We're going to basically be going to one of these ultrasite caverns, and this one is called the Gleaming Depths. So what does this mean for you guys? What does it mean for Fallout? Well, the introduction of raids and hard content means they're definitely going to be doubling down and highly prioritizing proper balance. As a lot of you know that the meta in this game has been the same for a very long time, and it's not like your typical MMO light type game where everything's just been crazy balance-wise in this game for the last 6 years, and they've finally been cracking down on making it a healthy, proper game that has, you know, a nice sandbox to choose from and where everything works properly and nothing's really incredibly stronger than the other. Basically, they want all builds to be viable, and they're they're looking to buff other things that have been underperforming, which is good. And they've also been fixing bugs that have been making things overperform. Some might see these as nerfs, but I've been seeing it so far as like fixing parts of the game that weren't working correctly, and it just makes the game healthier as a whole. So if everything is, pretty balanced, then the game will be in a good state, and we can then have harder content like these raids. Because obviously the content won't be hard if you're an immortal god one-shotting everything. It's pretty hard to balance content around that top 1% of players that are just unkillable beasts with the best builds and the best gear. But we're going to get there. Time will tell, but I think we're going to get there. So yeah, the raids all but confirmed to be making a return is fantastic for the game. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be meaning that we're going to have to be working with a team, going to be filling roles. This means that it's going to be, I'm going to speculate, you're going to need a medic build on your team to keep you alive during these tough raids. This is probably why medics in the PTS got that change, so that it now heals your teammates if you're shooting at them. I'm just connecting some dots that are in front of me. Probably is also going to mean that you're going to require some sort of power armored tank in your group to take all the fire and sustain all the damage on him, while you have a DPS, whether that be like a melee, shotgunner, pistol if they ever buff pistols, or commando, or maybe another heavy gunner, whatever the case may be. I foresee us having or requiring a healer, a tank, and then some DPS in these raids, which is fantastic. I love that holy trinity combo in these sort of games. So hopefully it gets implemented really well. Like I said, time will tell. In other news, shifting away from this a little bit, we've also gotten some news that the legendary crafting system is potentially going to be going live on September 3rd with the new update, with the Mole Post Zero update. So all of that, potentially, take it with a grain of salt, because I don't have confirmation. This is just what I've seen in the Discord and what has been speculated. Potentially all of this is releasing September 3rd, so if you've been hoarding your scrip and legendary weapons to then scrap and scrip and all that sort of stuff, it's coming soon. So if you haven't, make sure you're prepared. I know I've been prepared. I'm going to be doing a video when that drops and hopefully get enough resources together to craft my armor and my weapons that I want. So yeah, legendary crafting is coming fairly soon, which is very exciting, as well as an actual scrip increase, limit increase. We can now hold up to 11,000 scrip instead of, I think it was at 5,000 was the limit. Yeah, so now we can hold 11,000, and I think that Bethesda has landed on a decision in the PTS for what they're going to do with the legendary cores that's in everyone's inventory. Apparently, this may still change, but apparently legendary cores are going to be traded 1-to-1 for legendary scrip. So if you've got, I don't know, 20 legendary cores, you haven't played much, you're going to get 20 legendary scrip. However, if you've got 5,000 cores, which is the maximum you can hold, then you're going to get 5,000 scrip, which is very beneficial and obviously is why they've increased the scrip limit. So yeah, two fantastic things that are going to be coming with that. With legendary crafting as well, it appears that they have decided to finalize their decision. They're not going to be using legendary particles. They will be using separate exotic materials. Everyone is starting to call them exotic materials to craft certain legendary effects. For example, a bloodied effect, I think that requires the adrenal reaction serum, plus all the other stuff like legendary modules, yada yada yada. The +2 to perception for armor, +3 to perception for weapons, requires a perception bobblehead, stuff like that. Giving yourself cryo resistance requires the, what are they called? Freezer floater sacks. There's a whole list of this. I'm going to put it on screen. Thank you, Mapex, for sifting through this and putting it into a list for everyone to look at. I'm not going to go through it individually. Just pause the screen if you want to look at that. But basically, every single legendary effect for armor, ranged weapons, and melee weapons have a corresponding exotic material that will be required to craft it, which is, it's not my favorite iteration of the legendary crafting system, but I'll take it. I still prefer to legendary particles, just having a blanket new junk item to craft legendary modules and legendary effects, but we'll take this. This is still good. Honestly, this is still good. The system could have been a lot worse. But yeah, this is pretty much all the video is about, just with the new update from QuakeCon. We will also be getting, we've gotten word from Ken through one of his questions over at QuakeCon to the developers that it's potential that 4th and 5th star legendary effects will be coming at some point. Potentially, like I've been saying this whole video, take it with a grain of salt. But it's potential that those will come out as well. Maybe they will be rewards from from raids. That would be a great reason to play raids. You get materials, maybe unique materials, to craft 4th and 5th star effects for your weapons and armor, to then increase your power to that next level, while balancing everyone. I don't know, but yeah. And before we wrap everything up, let's just cover some stuff that happened on the PTS quickly. I spoke a little bit about all this while we were covering the QuakeCon stuff, but let's talk about it. Legendary crafting has seen its basically the final stage of its development, adjusted the material costs used to craft legendary mod boxes. We spoke about that. That is the exotic items that are being used. Not the biggest fan of this, but it works and it'll be great to have it. It'll give some items a use case, which is also nice. Better than nothing. I still wish they would go back to the particles, but this works too. Also, the actual material costs from the modules has gone down. It used to be 45 modules for a 2nd star and 90 modules for a 3rd star. Now it is 30 for a 2nd star and 60 for a 3rd star. So it goes to 15, 30, and then 60, which is a great bonus. I'm happy that they nerfed that a little bit, or I guess buffed it for us. Then we've got the Kabloom, all the legendary weapons that we could re-roll. We can now use those with the legendary crafting system. That's not going to be taken away from us, thank God. So Kabloom, Blue Ridge Branding Iron, Cryptic Jawbone, Cultist Piercer, Elder's Mark, Holy Fire, Lucas Switchblade, and the Ogre Gauntlet can be legendary crafted with this system. Brilliant. So we will be able to be crafting whatever the hell we want with these unique weapons, which is great. Fixed a few cases where things can't be scrapped. Awesome. Legendary script limit increased to 11,000. I spoke about that earlier. And then interestingly, they reduced the weight for legendary modules. It is now 0.15 pounds, down from 0.25 pounds. So that's great. They did a little buff to the Gauss shotgun. I believe, yeah, in my notes here, they increased the base damage to 140, up from 105, which is a great massive buff, especially if you put all of your build buffs on top of it. That's actually in a really good place. However, it's still a significant nerf to the weapon compared to what we have on live. But the Gauss shotgun got a nice buff. I do hope they increase it a little bit further, but this is nice. I'm glad they're buffing things that need to be buffed. A few other things here that aren't really important to me, but like they've fixed some stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to go over this besides one part. Strangleheart Power Armor set bonus has been changed. I'm going to do a whole video over that. But basically, Strangleheart got buffed. It now does a lot more damage, and even more damage depending on what weapon you're using. It does more damage if you're using a shotgun, more damage if you're using melee, and slightly less damage, but still a lot more damage than what we're used to, but just less damage if you're using a automatic weapon. So yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad that they buffed the Strangleheart. Amazing. Great to see that sort of stuff. Also, all of the damage over time effects for basically everything in the game saw a massive balance change here. They buffed all of them, like way over buffed them. They were doing like thousands of DPS a second. Now they are only doing, you know, a respectable amount. They will be noticeable, they're powerful, but they're not like thousands of DPS a second anymore. So like they were in the previous PTS, but it's good that these DPS inducing effects dot inducing effects are being buffed. Lots of buffs. It's really good to see. Some stuff with the caravans that I don't need to dive into, but basically they're fixing stuff in it. That's all you need to know there with the Milepost 0 caravans. Pause if you'd like to read it. I'll have this link down below anyway. But yeah, that's all the stuff I wanted to cover in the notes. So yeah, let's wrap this thing up. I think that's everything covered from the QuakeCon that I wanted to cover. Raids are coming, new boss is coming, the giant snake thing, which looks awesome. It's potentially going to be the main boss in this particular Gleaming Depths raid. Also, Milepost 0 is coming, and Legendary Crafting is coming on September 3rd, potentially, if it doesn't get pushed back. 4th and 5th stars may still be a thing, and Legendary Script increase has happened. That is now 11,000. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed and learnt something from this little breakdown of mine. Shout out to everyone that was involved in getting information. You're legends. And stay tuned on the channel. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming. The future of Fallout 76 looks very bright. That's going to do it for me. A massive shout out to all of my channel members. You're all legends, and thank you for your continued support on the channel. If you like what I do here and you'd like to support me further, then consider becoming a member or check out my merch store. We've got a lot of great designs and benefits, so be sure to check that out in the description. And while you're down there, chuck me a follow on my other social medias and join my Discord. Subscribe if you're new and like the video if you've enjoyed. I've been Tia, and I'll catch us in the next one. Welcome to Valhalla.